What would I have to willingly sacrifice? I clutch my throat, tarot cards to me, hoping that they will provide the answer. Will the ritual bring back Lily? I asked aloud while shifting the familiar weight between my hands. I draw the Seven of Cups. It's weird. A weird card. A man looking at a bunch of cups, each filled with different symbols. Jewels in one, a snake in another, a dagger in another, gifts and curses. The man is just standing in front of them, a rabbit in the headlights of a divine choice. This card has come up a few times in readings before. It's usually about not being able to make a choice. I try to apply that to the situation, but it doesn't quite add up. Surely by doing the ritual at all, we are making a definite choice. We are acting. We are not staring at a bunch of cups and waiting for the world to pass by. I look again and try to think of the card differently. The dagger hovering above the cups draws me in, and I press my thumb over the blade. Maybe it's not about choices. Maybe it is about wishful thinking and pretending there are multiple options when really there's only one. Life for a life. Give big to get big. It's how black magic works, isn't it? I bite down on my lower lip and draw again. As soon as I see the card, I drop it on the floor, then immediately cover it with my foot. No, I whisper, looking at my toenails. No. I knock on Joe's bedroom door. It's early on Saturday morning, but she's awake and propped up on two pillows, reading a book. She's not gone to college all week on Griffin's advice. But I feel fine, Joe said. It's not that, Griffin responded gruffly. I mean, it would just be safer. Hey, I say, hovering by the door. Hey, back, or hi, back, she says, looking up. You are up early. What are you doing? I just wanted to check in on you. Are you cold? Yes. Do you want to hop in? I don't say anything, just make my way across the room and climb into her double bed. The bed is so cozy, the sheets perfectly white and clean. Joe never eats in bed like I do. I'm always in a losing war with toast crumbs. I've no pillow, I grumble. Come on, share mine. She reaches over for me and tucks me under her arm. I rest my head on her chest, listening to the thump, thump, thump of her heart. We haven't done this since you were small, she says. You used to beg to sleep in bed with me. You would never let me either. Cow, can you blame me? You had the sharpest toenails and cabbage farts. I did not. What would you use? What would you usually be? A cat fight settles into a sleepy, dozy argument, both of us staring at the ceiling. Are you scared? I whispered. She's quiet for a moment, a little. She answers, that you are going to get attacked again. Yes, and that Sarah is going to get it worse, and that her voice strains a little, and that things are just going to get worse for everyone. What do you mean? I think a lot of us have just assumed that things were getting so much better, so progressive, you know? We are in the liberal Ireland and all that. I think we all got a bit too proud of ourselves too soon. She gulps and rubs at the tender skin underneath her black eye. I think this is the I think this is the backlash. I imagine my sister being screamed at, being followed, being attacked, and then Aaron on TV distracting the host and talking about about how there is two sides to every story. I hold her tight, turning my face into her shoulder, trying not to think of the 7 of Cups or the card that I trapped with my foot. The death card is still in my room, still lying face up on the floorboards. I know enough about the death card to know that it doesn't mean death. Or, not usually. Hi, why are you snuffling? I'm scared, I say, and then, I'm scared for you. Ah, sure, look at it. There's no point in being scared. I'm lucky. I've got a great family and a great girlfriend, and I'm smart and I'm smart and I'm hot. I'll be fine, she chuckles. But not everyone will be. No, she reasons. Not everyone else will be. I love you. She stops and looks at me, surprised. Are you okay, Maeve? I give an unconvincing nod. I love you too, but don't be worrying yourself about this. It has nothing to do with you. Just try your best to be there for people more vulnerable than you. Keep your eyes and ears open. Speak up if you see something messed up, okay? I hold her close and try to find a way to tell her that it has at least a little to do with me. The day crawls on, sullen and heavy. The cold snap has well and truly passed, but there is now a waspy humidity in the air, close and sticky. The three of us arranged to meet at the river at midnight. Lucky for me, Mum and Dad are going to a dinner party, and Joe is at Sarah's house. The attack seems to have brought them even closer together. Sarah came over last night, and they spent all evening in the living room, curled up around each other like foxes. I hope they move in together. Joe will like that. I hug both my parents and then they leave, holding them tight. I breathe in the smell of my mother's hair. Her perfume smells like liquid gold. Any plans for the night, May? I'm going to watch a film at Fiona's, I answer mechanically, wondering if this is the last lie I will ever tell her. Oh, do you need money for a cab home? I would offer to spin you home, but we won't be done till way late. This is a long chapter, guys. Ooh. It's moving along. Okay. Now I won't be coming home, I say, already wondering. Why did I say it like that? I mean, I'm going to sleep at Fiona's. It's going to be so interesting if you live. That's what she's thinking. All right, Mum. Mum is wrestling to put her phone in her tiny clutch bag. Why don't you just leave your phone at home? I say encouragingly. You don't want to be disturbed anyway, do you? And she thinks I won't have to really do it, will I? Not when Lily isn't even dead. The housekeeper had made that clear. She's just trapped. I won't have to do it. And anyway, I couldn't do it. How would I even do it? I don't know what she's talking or thinking about. I suppose you're right, she shrugs, and leaves the phone on the sideboard. Are you all right, May? Dad asks. You seem a bit off. I'm fine. They leave, and I wander around the house aimlessly. It's only 7 p.m. My fingers trace the grooves in the wallpaper. My feet trace the skirting boards. Rue was right. I do have a beautiful home. It's funny that I never appreciated it before now. It's strange how I never understood the immense privilege, the wealth, the love that I have had the luxury of growing up with. Instead, I was too busy obsessing about friends and the grades that I didn't have. It all seems so childish now. I go in and out of my siblings' bedrooms, picking up things and putting them down anywhere again. Abby's shelf of Jane Austen books, Pat's records, Gillian's old Subectio football figures, blue tacked to his desk and gathering dust. I lie on Joe's bed for a while, just staring at the ceiling. When was the last time everyone was home together? Gillian was at his girlfriend's house last Christmas, and Abby was at destination wedding in Tahiti. She said we would all Skype them, but we never did, and instead me, Joe and Pat watched the Limbrith until 2 a.m. and ate a tin of roses. Pet, what? Crazy. But that's what it says. They ate a tin of roses. And that must be the quality streets sweets. There are sweets called roses, chocolates. Pat let me have a rum and coke. I remember with a sting of shame being glad that Gil and Abby weren't home. Pat and Joe were my favourite siblings anyway. It was better when I had them all to myself. When the four of them were together, they all talked about work stuff and people I don't know. They treated me like a baby and made condescending declarations about how I was turning out. Now I want to slap myself for having favourite siblings, for not being happy in our unit of 5. If the cards are right, we'll never be 5 again. I wonder briefly if it would be good to leave a note to stop Mum from blaming herself, or Dad from having a nervous breakdown. But what could the note possibly say? Had to break a curse. BRB. I think that could be back soon or something like that. I pat around the kitten, opening drawers and closing them again. I take the sharpest knives out of the wooden block next to the stove, testing each one against my fingers. One, a long Japanese knife my dad cut off the boys for a long Japanese knife my dad got off the boys from his birthday. Pricks my finger, and the moment it touches it, the skin, a bubble of blood appears at the tip. I suck on it. It doesn't hurt too much. I won't have to do it. Will I? Should I? My phone buzzes. Rue. Hey, you home? Yep, I am. Can I come over to yours before the spell tonight? Sure. Great. Thanks. Kiss kiss. He arrives a couple of hours later in his red bomber jacket, carrying a tote bag. Hey, he says, smiling nervously. Thanks for letting me come over. I shrug. That's okay. He looks at me and cocks his head like a curious puppy. Are you all right, Maeve? Yeah, I say softly. I'm just, I'm on my period. His eyebrows stood up to his hairline in surprise. Oh, you are all pro-woman and gender queer until I start talking about my period, I say sarky. No, it's not that, he says, wounded. I'm just surprised you would bring it up. I shrug again and make my way into the kitchen. Do you want a tea or something? Sure. I flick the kettle on, and my eyes go to his tote bag on the floor. It's full of clothes. What are those for? Oh, he says bashfully, I was just hoping I could change my clothes here. I wanted to. Never mind. What? Tell me. I don't want to. You're in a mood with me? I'm not. You are, I can tell. And he looks so confused that my heart melts. I want to wrap my arms around him, to kiss him long and slow. I have already got an idea what she has to give up. Rue. I want to sit him down on my couch, my legs on either side of his waist. I want to feel his hands under my clothes. None of this is his fault. He wants to be with me before he found out what kind of person I am. Maybe part of him still does want to be with me. I'm sorry, I say, trying to hold back the emotion in my voice. It's not about you, really, please tell me. I pour the hot water and start working the bag against the bottom of each mug. I don't know. The tea bag. Okay, he says. I just thought this spell will work better the more power we feel, right? And I want to feel the powerful as I can, like I do on stage. Are you going to do the spell dressed in drag? No, he responds, a smile spreading on his lips. He holds a gown against himself. I'm going to do it dressed like myself. Rue, that is so freaking cool. Wow, do you think? He's excited now. I do. I start laughing and digging through his tote bag. I pluck out a silk navy camisole and a long pearl necklace. There are only glass, he says, as if he's apologizing. This is going to be awesome, I say, and for a minute I forget about Aaron and heaven and all the other reasons. I'm terrified. Do you have makeup? I don't have much, not a lot, but my mum does. Expensive stuff. We take our mugs upstairs. Rue sits on my parents' bed while I dig through her things. What do you have? I ask. This, he says, throwing over a pencil case full of pound shop makeup. It's cakey and half melted and looks like it's being flushed down the toilet.